Welcome everyone. I'm Jolene Lamott. I'm the Nursing, Health Science, and Pharmacy Librarian. And I'm here today to help you learn how to take facts, how to move from learning facts to finding some evidence. I'm hoping that I can demystify some of the research process and show you how to stop Googling and start searching like a professional. So this is just going to be my brief overview. What I'm going to kind of cover today is a little bit of what it means to use Boolean operators and or not. And I'm going to show you how to take a research question, break it down into some concepts. We'll take a look at our library website. We will look at our CINAHL database, and I'll demonstrate searching in Swoop Search and in our CINAHL database. So first I just want to give a brief discussion of and, or, and not. Those are Boolean operators. I do have a brief lesson on the Graduate Nursing Guide. If you want to go more in depth, go ahead and look at Foundations of Searching on the Graduate Nursing Guide. I've got quite a few little tutorials there. Okay, so and or not. They do some things for us. When we talk in a few moments about keywords or concepts, and or not help us to do a couple of things. We can use and to look for both terms. We use or to look for either term or to look for synonyms for one term, and we can use not to exclude a term or to exclude something, a result we're seeing frequently. Now I would discourage using not unless it's an extreme situation, like maybe you're running a search and you're getting a lot of results about animals and you just need human searches. So we might say something like not animals, so that the results only include humans. But again, not is something I rarely use because it excludes so many things. So again, I just wanted to briefly cover this, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to our advanced searching. So I like to start off my searching with some type of document that I can just write my question down. So I type my question out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my keywords from my question. So in this case today, we're going to work with this question. Does music therapy reduce agitation in elderly patients with dementia? So I'm looking for what are my key or important terms in my search. So music therapy is a key term that I want to have. Agitation is I want to reduce agitation. Now you notice in my terms down here, I did not put reduce because that's going to limit my results and it's going to bias my results. So really what I want to know is how does music therapy affect agitation, but I'm not going to use those limiting terms like reduce, improve. I really would rarely do that. Also, I need to look for who is my population because this is a PICO framework. So while I'm looking for those, it helps to use a framework. In nursing, we often use PICO, population, intervention, comparison, and outcome. So I have elderly patients with dementia is another key term. And you notice when I broke it into this framework, I said, who is my patient population? And I'm pulling these down here. They're the elderly with dementia. What is my intervention that I would like to try? I'd like to try music therapy compared to whatever the standard care is. And what is my outcome that I'm wanting? Again, it's reducing agitation, but we're not going to use that biased term normally. Also, I usually do not search the standard of care. Regularly when I start searching, I start with my P and my I keywords, and then if I'm getting too many results, I may go ahead and add in my outcome. Also, sometimes I'll play with my search and I might use my population and my outcome terms and exclude my I temporarily. That's really rare, but sometimes you need to play with that search. Searching is an iterative process. We need to be flexible and try it in different ways, and you will see that shortly. Okay, so I'm going to start from our library website. This is our library website. When you land on this page, you will see the picture of the Muntz library. You will see swoop search. You can click this button and it will move you down into the middle of the page. But I'm going to not do that. But if you want to quickly get to just where swoop search is, know that this button will get you there quickly. I want to talk about some things that are located at the top of the page. So here is our hours. So if you were to click here, it will take you to our hours. You can see when we're open. We have a lot of late nights. You can see the hours the study rooms are available, and you can find what hours our Starbucks is open. And we do adjust this depending on the season. What's happening, holidays, our hours are a little bit different, things like that. So know that that's helpful for you if you're looking to see what time the library is open. We have the link for reserving a study room. So you can see if it's green, it's available and you can reserve it. If it's red, it's occupied, and you can kind of scroll through and look at the different rooms. So that's kind of handy. And then additionally, we'll cover this in a few minutes, is our interlibrary loan. That is a way that you can get full text of an article if our library databases, if we don't have it in our library databases in our collection. So this is something that's handy to know about, and we'll walk you through that in a few minutes. If I scroll down, this is swoop search. What swoop search is our library's catalog and all the databases. It's kind of like a little bit like Google for our library. It is our EBSCO database discovery, and it pulls from all of our catalog, our books, and many different databases. It is a big net. Great for when you're just starting out in searching or you're looking for a specific book. I like to go ahead and use the advanced search instead of this one box. So I go ahead and click on advanced search, and it looks like this. And the reason why I said Boolean operators are important is you'll see here's that and I'll show you how you can use or in a second. It is an EBSCO database. I am going to recommend that you go ahead and, if you haven't, go ahead and sign in and create your EBSCO account. We'll talk about that a little bit more on our CINAHL database because it is also an EBSCO database, but just know that is up here. If I've signed in, then any of my searches can be saved. I can also see create projects. It's very helpful to go ahead and have that account set up, and you'll just sign in and create your account. I would suggest with your UT Tyler username and password or your UT Tyler email, and then go ahead and use your own password. You do not have to use your UT Tyler password. Okay, and so you're going to have 3 boxes. And this is where we can put our concepts. So my concept, my first one was, if I go back to my search page, is elderly and dementia. For right now, we're just going to use dementia. And I'm going to paste that in. You'll see that it does start populating some different terms for me. So I can choose to do that. Like maybe I say, oh, I didn't think about people with dementia or Alzheimer's and cognitive impairment. I'm going to go ahead and use this one, but what I want you to think about is going ahead and pasting these keywords into your search page that you created so that you have a record of the various keywords you've used. Also notice this is where that or term is coming in. Anytime I have different keywords, synonyms for a keyword, it is separated each term by the word or, because I'm saying look at dementia or Alzheimer's or cognitive impairment or memory loss. One other thing I want to talk about briefly is that anytime I have more than one word, I want to go ahead and put that word, those two or more words or a phrase into quotation marks, because that tells our database, hey, I need you to search this whole entire phrase. Otherwise, the database is going to look for memory and it's also going to look for loss. but it's not going to search them together. And in searching, when we have a phrase, we really want it to search together. Okay, let me go back to our advanced search. So this is where those quotation marks would be important. So I'm going to add my quotation marks. And my second concept that I'm using is music therapy. Again, the database starts recommending synonyms. You can choose whether or not to use them now. You may just go ahead and keep note of them, of music intervention, musical therapy. Also, there's a little thing, if I put an asterisk, that's going to search music therapy. It will also search that musical therapy for me. So that can also be a little trick using truncation that I can use. So here I have my two terms. I have some search fields over here. So right now, all fields means in the title, in the abstract, in the subject, any place in the article, any place that these words might appear. So I can play with that and say, I only want you to look for these words in the subject, or I only want you to look for these terms in the abstract, or I only want you to look for it in the subject. In this case, I'm going to leave it in all text, but no, I'm going to get a lot of results. Remember, this swoop search is searching my whole entire catalog, all the books we have, all the articles we have access to, so it is a very broad database, and I would expect to get a lot of results. The other thing I can choose to do is I can limit by when the publication is written. There are some limiters or filters I can use. I can decide, do I want to search only within my collection? If I uncheck this is where that ILL comes into play. It may actually recommend books or articles that we do not have that you would have to request an ILL. For today, I'm going to leave that on, and I'm going to go ahead and click search. And you'll see I get 39,000 results. That is a lot of results, and I can make some adjustments. I only want peer reviewed. So that brings it down to 21,000. I only want it within the past 5 years. So we're now at 10,000. Something else you can choose is maybe I say, I only want academic journals. And now I'm down to 9,000. Like I said, that's a lot because it is searching so many things. And so sometimes I like to be more specific. This is just a starting point. Sometimes what I'm looking for when I look at the results is I might be looking at where is that article located. If I'm not getting a lot of results, sometimes I scroll down and I look at my subject terms. Notice it's indexed under Alzheimer's, dementia. Those are terms that I may want to add. I can read the abstract to see whether the article is working for me. So all of these results, the information can be very helpful in building out your search. So now we're going to go back to that our home page, and I'm going to take a look at CINAHL, which is our nursing specific database. There are a couple of ways that you can get to our nursing specific database. From the home page, one way you can do that is to go to databases by title, and you can filter by subject. The reason I say that is if I open up this A to Z database, or databases by title, right now I'm looking at all 295. Now, if I know the database I want to go to, I can just look alphabetically, or I can type in the name of the database. But often we don't know when we're beginning to search databases what database we actually want to look at. So one thing I like to do is go ahead and go to my subject area. We have them all tagged with our subject areas. So we're looking for our nursing subject area. And then I click search, and it gives me 80 different databases that are tagged for nursing, but you'll notice here at the top are the ones that are most recommended. The other way you can get to our database is by going to research guides and then finding your area of study. We're health sciences. When I click on that, you'll see I have a nursing, and again, that graduate nursing guide that I talked to you about a few minutes ago. So we're going to go to the nursing database, or the nursing guide. This has lots of information for you about APA, how to do citing, some useful websites for you, just how to distance learning, lots of things. This also has my picture, how to email me, how to book an appointment. So if you are needing some help with your searching, you can book an appointment with me or email me a question. So going to our nursing database is a great way, or our nursing guide is a great way to get the resources that are built for you as a nursing student. So we're going to go to databases, and you will notice I have a couple little tips here, just what to do. Consider starting in PubMed or CINAHL, and this is listed alphabetically, and I've pulled out the databases that are specifically helpful to nursing, any of these that you'd like to try. I've also have some other databases down here in case maybe you're needing something in a different subject area. So I have tried to build this out to be inclusive. Today we are going to talk about the CINAHL database. And you will notice that this looks very much like Swoop Search, and it is because they are both owned by the same company, EBSCO. And again, here is my sign-in, and I'm going to go ahead and show you. I do have an account, so if you do not, you'll create it. I do. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. The reason I do that is that it makes it so that I can save projects and I can save my searches, and we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. But my search boxes work very much the same way. One of the things that is a little different is you'll notice that this has CINAHL headings. That is like mesh terms. It is a way that this CINAHL database indexes subjects, and we do have some YouTube videos on that and we'll talk about that. But I'm going to go ahead, and my first term, remember, was dementia. And I'm actually going to go to my page and grab what I used before. And I'm going to paste it in. And that's one of the ways that I'm going ahead and putting it into a database or into a sheet is helpful for me, having some type of document so I don't have to keep typing it out. For this purpose, I wanted to show you that I'm just going to search dementia or cognitive impairment. I think I'm going to leave the other terms off and see what types of results I get. Again, single word does not need to be in quotations, but that phrase does. And then my second concept was music therapy. And again, I'm going to start with just one or two terms because this is a phrase. I'm putting it in quotation marks, so it will search the whole phrase together. Notice that I do have the same fields we talked about, only in our CINAHL complete database, I have one other, and that is, hey, go ahead and search in subject or in the title or the abstract. I can also search it as a subject. So you can play around with that to see what your results are. For today, I'm going to go ahead and use this, look for it in the title and the abstract. If I don't get a lot of results, I'll probably come back and either add some synonyms in, or I will look at it in all text. So I'm going to look at both of these. I can mix and match though. I could do music therapy in the title and the abstract, and I could look for dementia or cognitive impairment in just the subject. So that's what I'm saying. Play around with it and see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click search. And we get 254 results, which is actually pretty good. Again, now I can do some filtering to improve my search. So some of the things that I can do is I can go ahead and I can filter by my time. So within the last 5 years, that's most common for nursing, as we look for research that's recent within the past 5 years. I also normally look for things that are peer reviewed. You'll notice above a result, it will tell me if it's peer reviewed. I can look by source types. I can look for the database that it's listed in. And then there are some other things, like I did not put elderly. If I wanted it to only search in the elderly, show me articles, I could filter just in that 65 and above, and then click apply, and we'll see what it does to my results. That takes it down to 28. I do want to talk about a couple other filters that are in here for you that you may or may not want to use. Sometimes, and I went back to my advanced search, sometimes I might want to use this evidence-based practice. And what evidence-based practice does is it automatically filters for either articles that are evidence-based, for journals that are evidence-based, or certain types of articles like systematic reviews, meta-analysis, clinical trials. So it will automatically search just for those things. If I were to click this and click search again, you will notice it took my results down to 8. So I'm really reducing a lot. If I'd like to remove some of those filters, I can click where it says all filters, and I can click on the X to remove anything that I feel like might be reducing my search too much. For this case, I'm going to say evidence-based practice, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So I'm back to 28 results. There is another search filter. Sometimes your professors will ask you to look for an article that has a nurse as the author. And I have a couple of choices here. The nurse as the first author, or a nurse as any author. So that can be pretty helpful to you if you are given those instructions. I'm just getting back to my results list so I can see it here. I can open and close my search history, either here, what I've been searching, which is helpful. I can close that so I can see my results. Also, I can go to recent activity. My recent activity is just this session. It's not saving it even though I'm saved in or signed in. If I want to save a result, I can click on the little hot dog, the 3 dots, and I can either share, I can add it to a project. This little icon here, this little bookmark tab, if I click on it, will save it over here under saved. Additionally, I can save all my results up here in this bigger heading. If I click here, I can save that complete search. When I am looking at my results, it tells me a lot. My title, it highlights the search terms that appeared and it's looking for it in the title, so they're highlighted. It also looks for it. Remember, I said it might look for it in the subject. It's also looking for it in the introduction. And if I want to see more, I can click on it. So again, I can see who are my authors. I can look at what is the journal it's in. I can see the subjects that it was indexed under, and I can read my abstract to see, before I go and get my article, is this an article that is relevant to me? Is it something that works for me? And if I click back, I can go to my results, and let's talk about how to get this article. Let's say this is an article that I want to use and I need the PDF. You're going to see some options under the Access Options button. If I see PDF in either of these two places, if I see PDF, I want to go ahead and use PDF because it's going to get it to me right away. So let me go ahead and click PDF so you can see what this says. It said using LibKey Nomad. That is this little extension I have up here, and I'm going to show you a slide. That is something that you want to do, is go get and install the LibKey Nomad extension. It's going to help you get full text, and in just a minute we're going to talk about how Google Scholar can help you. So here is that article in its PDF form so that I can save it, I can print it, and I can read the whole entire article. Let me go back. And let me see if I can find one that maybe we do not have access to. This one says request through interlibrary loan. So you will have to sign in to your interlibrary loan account. You're going to choose your UT Tyler. It should automatically sign you in. And I'm going to show you, for me, because I already have an account, it populates all the information that we at the library need to get you access to this article. The only thing you have to do is under charges here, you put 0. And you might be thinking to yourself, but I don't have an account. And that is true, but here under interlibrary loan, and I would recommend doing this after we watch the video, or after you watch this video, go and get your interlibrary loan account. It does take a couple of days. So what you will do is you will click register here. You will click for first-time users, and you will fill out all of this information. Your first name, your last name, UT Tyler email, your phone number, and then you get to choose delivery location. You can choose, you'll probably choose the Tyler campus because you probably are undergrad, but if you are a Palestine or Longview, you could choose those campuses also. Preferred delivery. If it's an article that's a PDF, it's going to get emailed to you. So, but you can choose, if it's a book, you would choose whether you wanted it held for pickup, or if you are a distance student, having it emailed. So you will go through all of these things, fill out the information. We do need a physical address if it needs to be sent to you, not a PO box. And you will submit your information. Again, it takes just a couple of days to create this account for you, so it's a good practice to go ahead and get that now. So those are the different ways that you will usually access or get access to an article, either through PDF, through the database itself, or through a request through interlibrary loan. And if you struggle with any of these, again, reach out to me and I will definitely help you. We're going to look at one other way that can be super helpful to you in searching. And believe it or not, it is Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar is different than just Google because it's searching for scholarly literature. I can't search it exactly the same way. It does not understand or, so I'm not going to use a lot of synonyms. It does understand and. It kind of understands it implied though. So if I say dementia and music therapy, and I click search, it's going to look for all of this information. So it's going to find articles in Google, but the cool thing is I have done something called linking my library to, or linking Google to the UT Tyler library, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But that is why over here I see UT Tyler Access. This would be Wiley, the database we use, so it's finding it in Cochrane. Sometimes it doesn't always show up the way I want it, and I have to click on the links to kind of see, but you can see this article's been cited 741 times. You can see when it was written. Now it's kind of old, 2003. You can filter by time here, so that is helpful. If I say, hey, I only want things within the past 5 years, right? So I might say, I want something from 2021. To 2026. and search. So you can see now my results are much more relevant to me when I'm looking at the dates. Let's go ahead and let me show you how to link your library. What you are going to do is you're going to come over here to My Library and it's Start. Oh, that is incorrect. I'm so sorry. You're going to come over here to the three lines and you're going to click and you're going to go to Settings, and under Settings you're going to go to Library Links. You will notice I have University of Texas at Tyler, UT Tyler Access. If this is not here because you have not linked your library, you can simply type in Tyler. Now notice UT Tyler Health Science Center came up and UT Tyler Health Science Center full text. I do not want to check these. If you are a UT Tyler student at our main campus or Palestine or Longview, you want to choose this access and you will just click it and then you will click Save and it should be saved and always there for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save and you will see it's searching and coming up with results that are available through our UT Tyler access. This has been just a brief overview of searching, how to use our library search, and then also how to start searching. And there's definitely more extensive searching I could teach you. If you have more questions, if you're struggling with your search and you're just not getting results you need, please reach out to me and let me help you with that search. The other thing I want to talk about is how you can get a hold of me. Again, this is my phone number. Here is my email address. You can scan here for the QR code that will take you to my booking link. Also, I'm normally book 9 to 4. You're welcome to come see me in the library. This is my office number. If you need hours outside of that 9 to 5, you are welcome to, I'm sorry, if you need outside of that, just let me know and I will definitely get you an appointment outside of, extended hours. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Do not struggle. Let me help you. Have a great day.